This is Airborne on Aero-TV, now streaming on the internet and around the world in A&N's all-new Retina Vision Super 3D. There is nothing wrong with your monitor. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling the transmission. If we wish to make it louder, we will bring up the volume. If we wish to make it softer, we will tune it to a whisper. We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical. We control the image, from a soft blur to sharp crystal clarity. For the next few minutes, sit quietly, and we will control all that you see and hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your monitor. Now, with today's report, here is Aero-News.net's Ashley Hale.
Welcome to a special April Fool's edition of Airborne here on Aero-TV. Now streaming on the internet and around the world in A&N's all-new Retina Vision Super 3D. I'm Ashley Hale. One of the names that is being quietly discussed as a candidate to replace Craig Fuller as President and CEO of AOPA is none other than Joseph Ratzinger, who the world knows better as now former Pope Benedict XVI. Ratzinger recently resigned the papacy and is reportedly looking for an organization that could use his skills in his retirement. It was reported that the former pope holds a private pilot certificate and a helicopter rating, and he often flew the papal helo from the Vatican to Castle Gandolfo, his summer retreat. An internal AOPA memo forwarded to A&N points out that Ratzinger has many of the qualities that can make him a viable candidate for the post. Quote, "He is a pilot, and he has international credentials that will make him a strong leader for the international chapters we have. And let's face it, he's infallible. Maybe that will finally get Campbell off our backs," the memo said. A&N's editor-in-chief Jim Campbell was unavailable for comment. The memo indicates that the former pope has not yet been officially approached about the idea and admits that they would have to come up with a very attractive package to lure Ratzinger out of retirement. Another memo discusses the possibility of constructing a balcony at AOPA headquarters in Frederick, Maryland, from which he could address his membership. Citing the cuts forced on the FAA by sequestration, Administrator Michael Huerta today announced that the agency would be entering Chapter 11 in an effort to completely reorganize the agency. In testimony before the House Transportation Aviation Subcommittee last month, Huerta pointed out that the bulk of cuts being imposed on the Department of Transportation would fall on the FAA. And today, he said he would be following the example of so many of the businesses regulated by the agency and basically start from scratch. "Everything is on the table," Huerta said in a hastily called news conference. Quote, "We'll be looking at everything from certification to the number of controllers working at towers around the country. Safety will continue to be our #1 priority, but if you're going to run government like a business, well, this is one of the options available in the corporate world," end quote. The agency has retained the law firm Gabb & Steele to represent it during the proceedings. The move has the blessings of both DOT Secretary Ray LaHood and President Obama himself, who said it was appropriate to spread the wealth around among attorneys. The White House said it was a job creations measure, estimating that the case would mean several hundred jobs in the legal sector alone. Saying that everyone who makes use of the NAS should be paying their fair share for its administration, President Obama today proposed a $10 per flight user fee for people operating remote-controlled aircraft. White House Press Secretary Jay Carney said that the president feels that anyone who can afford to buy an RC airplane and fly it can afford to help keep the NAS safe while flying. Quote, "They're expensive toys, often operated by the top 1% of wage earners," Carney said. "We think they should be asked to pay a modest fee for their use of the national airspace like we've proposed for most other flights," end quote. Asked how the fee would be tracked and collected, Carney said, quote, "It will be done on the honor system. We think these law-abiding citizens will realize that it is their patriotic duty to pay for the privilege of keeping America's airways safe and open," end quote. "Patriotic duty, my left foot," said an RC pilot who requested anonymity. The pilot, who was flying his electric styrofoam P-51 from an undisclosed location, said that the proposal was ridiculous. $10 a flight, he asked? I mean, sometimes I'll recharge and fly this thing 15 or 20 times just in the morning. I only paid $100 for the airplane. Is he serious? Carney said that most RC airfields are fairly well known and that an additional 10,000 IRS agents will be hired to randomly check those fields for unpaid activity. Boeing is reportedly considering a potential longer-term solution for its beleaguered Dreamliner that the company says is a green fix for the 787's electrical issues. The company plans to cover the wings, horizontal stabilizer, and upper fuselage with solar electric cells to generate power previously supplied by the airplane's lithium-ion batteries. A source close to the project, who is not authorized to speak to the media, told ANN that the retrofit will be heavy, expensive, costly, and time-consuming for the airplanes already in service, but that those costs will come down as more airplanes are built. Quote, "You can't run these things on a couple ever-ready 9-volt cells," the source said. So if you want power on the ground and the LI batteries are going to be such a problem, well, some compromises are going to have to be made, end quote. Engineers from the Solar Impulse team recently flew to Everett, Washington for meetings with Boeing officials, but would only say that they have been contracted by Boeing to work on a special project. With the efficiency race pretty much scrapped, Airbus said that it was also considering eco-friendly power generation for its A350 XWB. A source said that the Airbus plan involved hundreds of tiny windmills strategically placed around the airplane to generate electricity as it moves through the air. Quote, "Will still be the most eco-efficient airplane on the market," an Airbus official said. "Windmill production is much cleaner than manufacturing solar cells." We're back in just a moment with more of this special April Fool's edition of Airborne, now streaming in ANN's all-new Retinavision Super 3D with no glasses required.
Since its inception, Redbird Flight Simulations has been dedicated to developing new training technologies and processes in an ongoing effort to make aviation safer, more affordable, and more accessible. Consider Redbird's flagship flight training device, the FMX, a superior quality, full-motion, feature-rich advanced aviation training device priced with real-world flight training organizations in mind. With standard features that are anything but standard, such as wraparound visuals, a fully enclosed cockpit, quick change configurations, scenario-based training compatibility, and of course, an electric motion platform, the FMX serves up a level of realism that is simply unavailable in other training devices on the market. For more information on Redbird flight simulations, the Redbird FMX, and Redbird's entire line of flight training devices, visit www.redbirdflightsimulations.com.
Welcome back. If you'd like to suggest a story for Airborne, Aero-TV, our website, or our podcast, send us a postcard or letter with 2 box tops from your favorite breakfast cereal to Aero-News at 1 Aerodome Way, Sky City, Florida, 79900. The U.S. Air Force today announced that it will select its light air support aircraft by holding a series of dogfights between Embraer's A-29 Super Tucano and Beechcraft's AT-6. The winner of 2 out of 3 of these contests will be awarded the contract to build 20 airplanes for the U.S. and Afghanistan. One of the dogfights will be held in Florida near Jacksonville, where Embraer and Sierra Nevada Corporation plan to build the Super Tucano. A second will be held in the skies over Wichita, Kansas, the home of Beechcraft. A third dogfight, if necessary, would be held at Edwards Air Force Base in California, a site agreed to by the 2 companies as neutral territory. Pentagon spokeswoman Ima Onthus said that each company is currently outfitting 1 airplane with laser tag technology, used by commercial dogfight operators popular around the country. Hits scored on the airplanes will be tallied by a computer in each of 3 15-minute rounds per dogfight. And the airplane that scores the most hits will be named the winner of the round. In the event of a tie based on points after 3 rounds, the planes will be subjected to a series of challenges in which they will need to avoid ground fire during multiple runs, simulating actual combat conditions in Afghanistan. The company which builds the winning airplane will be announced as the winner of the contract to build the LAS. One of the names prominently mentioned as EAA searches for a new leader is one that would bring plenty of star power, quite literally, to the organization. Harrison Ford, who played Han Solo in the original Star Wars movies and who's also a licensed pilot, is said to be considering taking the helm of the well-known Letter Group. However, one of the sticking points with the action movie star is the possibility that he will reprise his breakthrough role in an upcoming movie for Disney, which recently bought the Star Wars franchise from creator George Lucas. Quote, "As I said to the General Aviation Caucus in Washington, D.C. recently, the pay for flying the Millennium Falcon is much better than about anything else I could be doing," Ford said. So while I love flying and already have strong ties to the EAA, let's face it, a swashbuckling action hero has to do what a swashbuckling action hero has to do, end quote. EAA Board Chair Jack Pelton would neither confirm or deny that the organization is in negotiations with Ford, but hinted that he might be one of those under consideration. Quote, "I mean, if AOPA is getting a former pope, and those are a scarce commodity, we have to make sure we have somebody who will bring some star power to the position," Pelton said. "I won't say that it's Harrison Ford, but let's just say that we may have a new leader for the millennium." Get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. And please remember that Airborne is streamed once or twice weekly, depending on our mood, and is sometimes actually makes it online. Join us again on Friday, or maybe Monday, but definitely by sure Thursday, for another edition of Airborne. I'm Ashley Dashale. Thanks for watching. Oh, and one more thing, April Fools.